Hello everybody, this is Joe from PrepAgent. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up and we'll get ready to go. Okay, so today we're doing practice and disclosures. We will get on that immediately. Hope you all had a good day. And I hope you guys have been studying. So I'm setting my screen up here. And when we talk about okay, so when do those fair housing laws kick in? 1968. Okay, good job everybody. So I am trying a different location spot today because I wanted to have less echo. So if that affects my connection and buffers, just hit refresh on your screen and it should be fine. Okay, so the answer to my question was 1968. Who could give me an example of some fair housing violations? Who could give me an example of some fair housing violations? What do you guys think? Redlining, blockbusting, steering, good. Who knows what is redlining? What is redlining? What do you guys think? What is redlining? What is redlining? What do you guys think redlining is? So redlining would be discriminating when making a loan. That would be discriminating when making a loan. Okay, that has to do when you discriminate the geographical location. You pick that geographical location based upon racial makeup. So that's a fair housing violation for sure. What about blockbusting? What's blockbusting? Blockbusting, panic selling, panic peddling, all the same things. Because those people are moving to town. You don't want to live by those people. That is obviously discrimination. Congratulations, Ebony. Good job on passing. Everybody say congrats to Ebony. Where are you going to be selling real estate, Ebony? Let us know. Let us know. Good job, Ebony. Okay, and steering. What is steering? Steering has to do with working with buyers, right, everybody? So when you say, oh, you're one of those people, you should live there. Okay, she's going to be selling in Illinois. So if we're going to Illinois, we're looking for Ebony to buy a property. Okay, looking at the question on the board. Within months of buying their home, the Bowers learned that the roof leaked during heavy rains. When the house was listed with the banker's agency, the seller told the banker's broker that the roof leaked, but the bankers claimed the Bowers did not ask about the roof. What actions can be taken in this situation? A, the buyer could sue the seller under the license law. B, the buyer cannot sue the broker under license law. C, the buyer cannot do anything because this fact should have been disclosed during the home inspection. Or D, the buyer could sue the broker for non-disclosure. And the answer is D. The buyer could sue the broker for non-disclosure because they knew there was a problem there. Because the broker knew about the problems, therefore they could sue for that. Regards to periodic tenancy. A, the requirement of a landlord cosigner exclusively for tenants who are single. B, a landlord requiring that each and every tenant have a good credit rating and the insurance of a steady source of income. C, a landlord that requires a tenant to pay first, second, and last month's rent in advance. Or D, the requirement of a landlord that all tenants furnishes references from their previous landlord. The requirement of a landlord of a cosigner exclusively for tenants who are single. Okay, moving right along. All right, so trying to fix the connection. I may change to a different location for you guys. Okay, I think Adrian's going to do some vocab and I'll find a different connection, and then we'll resume the lesson I'm doing. Give me one moment. Okay, so Adrian's going to take over for a little bit. Okay, so Adrian's going to take over for a little bit.
Hello everybody, this is Adrian with PrepAgent. I'm stepping in for Joe for just a minute. If you can hear me, you don't, oops. Hello. If you can hear me, you won't need to refresh, but I also just typed into everyone refresh because that will kick you over to my connection. 1 second, everybody else can hear me. So everybody refresh one more time if you don't have a good connection. And we're gonna jump right back into questions. Just give me half a second to finish my setup. We're getting a little better at the handoff. right? The middle of webinar handoff. If any of you have been with us for a couple of months, the first time we did this was pretty horrific. It was buffering and refreshing, and I think we just completely lost the connection. So this, oh yeah, Anne was there. Anne remembers. It was not Anne's favorite webinar. But we're good to go now. So Joe is going to try and figure out his situation. And I'm going to go through some of this practice and disclosures with you until then. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into the board. Of the following, which would be a violation of the Federal Fair Housing Act, is that A, a nonprofit organization restricts renting to members only. B, a nonprofit private club rents to both members and non-members. Members pay less rent than non-members. C, a nonprofit private club gives preference in renting to its members over non-members. Or D, a nonprofit church denies access to their members' retirement home due to the members' race. What does everybody think here? Looks like we have pretty good consensus. So, of the following, which would be a violation of the Federal Fair Housing Act, the answer is D. A nonprofit church denies access to their members' retirement home due to the members' race. Race is one of the protected classes under federal fair housing, and it's the only one that's mentioned out of all of these questions. So, as Andrew Hardy said, the race card is a no-no. Especially if it's because you're denying somebody based off that. Next question. Maybe? And asks when you would deny a church when it has to do with housing and there's discrimination involved. And doesn't matter what kind of organization you are. Just a second here. Oh, I know what happened. Everybody give me half a second. When I'm doing support, a lot of times I end up logging in under your guys' accounts to check stuff out, make sure it's working good. And I betcha that's what happened there, so it kind of messed up my practice exam. All right, the Civil Rights Act of 1866 prohibits discrimination in housing based on which of the following reasons? A, sex, B, marital status, C, race, or D, religion. What do you guys think about this one? Along the same lines, right? Fair housing. L asks about tangible, intangible gifts that the agent is allowed to give out for presentations. L, those definitions are very state specific. What can be considered allowed and not allowed, and what can be considered cash and not cash. So you are welcome to email us at support. Email our support team, which is me, using the contact form on the website, and I can have a quick look for you. Or you can just Google your state and intangible, tangible gifts. You might find something there. So back to the question on the board. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 prohibits discrimination in housing based on which of the following reasons? The answer is C, race. And looks like everybody was good on that one. Nobody got confused. But it is important to remember that there are several different civil rights acts. There's also one of like 1966 and then another one in the 1980s, and each of those added protected classes. It's kind of the main difference between those. Each of those added protective classes. But race was the big one in 1866. If you remember what was going on at the time, we were having a lot of discussions about that. All right, next on the board, where no time period for acceptance by the offeree is stipulated in an offer, the offer A will not lapse, it must be revoked by the offeror. B will lapse after a reasonable time. C will lapse in 48 hours time, or D will lapse in 24 hours time. What do you all think here? This is kind of a tricky one. We're really talking more about contracts than we are real estate. Interesting. Stephanie says she feels like something similar to this was on the exam. So it's a good one to know. Where no time period for acceptance by the offeree is stipulated in an offer, the offer, B, will lapse after a reasonable time, which is what most everybody said, and this is just sort of a legal generality. So, will lapse after a reasonable time is what you'll want to remember in case this does come up. And the difference is that there is no specified time period, right, in contract law. So, it's not going to just expire after 24 or 48 hours. But it also doesn't have to be revoked by the offeror because it happens quite a bit, like people put out a Craigslist ad, which is technically an offer, and then just forget about it. But it does lapse after a reasonable time, and that would be as determined by a court. So when I said that we were talking about contract law more so than real estate specifically, it's just because you would have to, if this were a conflict, you would have to take it to a court. And so they leave the stipulation kind of general, and the court gets to determine what a reasonable time is based on the situation. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Susan asks, who decides what's reasonable? The court asks what's reasonable. All right, it looks like Joe is ready to go and jump back in. So we're going to go ahead and hand off again. Give us just 1 second. All right, everybody, it was great talking to you. I will be back for tomorrow's webinar. We'll see you then. And
Okay, everybody, refresh your page. And we are good to go. My connection is better, but the echo is still there. Sorry about that, but we'll make it work. Okay, the owner of a house signs a listing agreement and later tells the salesperson that the garage roof leaks. If they tell the salesperson not to reveal the roof's condition to a prospective buyer, the salesperson must A, abide by the owner's request, B, advise the seller that they must disclose the condition of the roof to prospective buyers, C, refer all prospective buyers who have questions about the roof's condition to the sellers, or D, advise only those prospective buyers who ask about the roof's condition. Okay. And the answer is B. I'm in the process of moving everything, so soon we'll have great connection and great sound, and everything will be amazing. Okay, and the answer is B. Miller, a licensed principal real estate broker, was sued for conversion. This means Miller allegedly did which of the following? A, commingle the client's trust accounts funds from his own. B, failed to maintain a positive balance in his client's trust account. C, misrepresent his client's funds. D, failed to reconcile his client's trust account in a timely manner. What do you guys think? And the answer is C, misrepresent his client's funds. Do you guys know the difference between commingling and conversion? What is the difference between commingling and conversion? What is the difference between commingling and conversion? What do you guys think? Commingling is the mixing of money. Conversion is actually using it. That's the big difference. Okay, so commingling is mixing the money. Conversion is actually using it. Big difference. Conversion is a lot worse than commingling, a lot worse of a penalty. Okay, next question. Stephen Douglas has been burning leaves on his front lawn. His neighbor filed a lawsuit and received a court order. Order Mr. Douglas to stop burning the leaves. The court order would be called, what do you guys think? A, a lease pendens, B, writ of habeas corpus, C, a variance, or D, an injunction. What do you guys think? So the answer would be D, an injunction. An injunction is a court order to stop. An injunction is a court order to stop. If an advertisement is placed in a newspaper advertising a house for a sale and only the APR is stated, A, total financial charges must be included. B, additional disclosures are not required. C, the amount of the down payment must be included. Or D, number of payments must be included. Okay, I'll do it again. If an advertisement is placed in a newspaper advertising a house for sale and only the APR is stated, A, total finances charge must be included. B, additional disclosures are not required. C, the amount of the down payment must be included. Or D, the number of payments must be included. What do you guys think? Okay, the answer is B. Additional disclosure are not required. Okay, the APR is supposed to include everything. It's called the annual percentage rate. It's supposed to be one simple number that gives you all the charges. They're supposed to incorporate all of it so it's not complicated to your average home buyer. Which of the following are covered under the Fair Housing Act? A, apartments. B, all of their options are covered under the Fair Housing Act. C, vacant land intended for residential use. Or D, houses. Which of the following are covered under the Fair Housing Act? A, apartments. All the other options are covered. C, vacant land used for residential use. Or D, houses. The answer is all of those options are covered, especially when you're dealing with residential living. Definitely no discrimination is allowed. A, the sale and leasing and lending of residential properties. B, the sales and leasing and lending of commercial and industrial properties. C, the sales and lending of residential properties. Or D, the leasing of commercial and industrial properties. What do you guys think? Okay, the answer is A, the sales and leasing and lending of residential properties. Good. Have you guys used the vocab system we put in? It said we just put it in this week, so we're always interested in your guys' feedback and how's that's going because we want to make it as good as possible for everybody. So let me know how that's going there. Okay. The owner of real property who leases it to another is called A, a lessor, B, a lessee, C, an optionee, or D, a vendor. The owner of real property who leases it to another is called A, a lessor, B, a lessee, C, an optionee, or D, a vendor. And the answer is A, a lessor. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 prohibits discrimination based on race, discrimination against a religious group, all the other options are correct, or discrimination against mentally challenged persons. So what was the one about 1866 all about? What do you guys think? What was that all about? And that was based on race. Remember, we're talking right after the Civil War. Talking about 150 years ago. When the lender makes a loan regulated by the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, also known as RESPA, the loan applicant must be provided which of the following? A, a bill of sale, B, a good faith estimate, C, forms for applying for the homeowner's exemption, or D, an application for private mortgage insurance. What do you guys think? When the lender makes a loan regulated by the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, the loan applicant must be provided with which of the following? A bill of sale, B, a good faith estimate, C, forms for applying for the homeowner's exemption, or D, an application for private mortgage insurance. And the answer is B, a good faith estimate. So as Adrian mentioned before, just a reminder, tomorrow he'll be here at 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock East Coast time. So that is tomorrow's webinar. Good question, Lisa. We'll have to look into that. We'll get an answer for you on that one. A real estate broker acting as an agent for the landlord has the following instructions. 1, collect larger deposits from single men than from single women or couples. 2, advertise only by encouraging existing tenants who are predominantly white to solicit prospective tenants from among their friends. Which of these instructions would be prohibited by the Federal Fair Housing Act? A, neither, B, instruction 1 only, C, both, or D, instruction 2 only. Oh, we went over this when we started the webinar today. The illegal process of a banker refusing to approve loans for a neighborhood based on the racial composition of the area is A, redlining, B, panic peddling, C, steering, or D, blockbusting. Thank you, Lisa, for that feedback. Much appreciated. Okay, the legal process of a banker refusing to approve loans for a neighborhood based on the racial composition of the area is A, redlining, B, panic peddling, C, steering, or D, blockbusting. And the answer is A, redlining. Congratulations, Mackenzie Miller, on passing. Good job. Okay, thank you, Lisa. We'll take a look at that. Thanks for tagging me in that. I'll check it out. The fair housing laws are not applicable in every real estate transaction. If an owner chooses to discriminate in housing, he or she must do which of the following? A, none of the other options are correct. B, the owner must not discriminate in advertising the property. C, the owner must not use real estate professional to conduct the transaction. C, the owner must not use real estate professional to conduct the transaction, and the owner must not discriminate in the advertising the property. Okay, and the answer is D. The owner must not use a real estate professional, conduct a transaction, and the owner must not discriminate in the advertising of the property. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. I apologize for the faulty connection. I'm going to try and clean that up. As always, we're always trying to improve. Nothing's ever perfect, but we do try, no matter what, much like the post office, deliver every day, rain or shine, no matter what our situation is. We want to keep these webinars on track, but we will try and make it better, for sure. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great day, and Adrian will be here tomorrow.